Welcome to DeaconsTable MiniAdventures, set in the mystical and diverse world of Foreverland, or as the elves call it, Oyala Endor, specifically in the enchanting Middlelands and the mysterious Mistwood forest. These one-shot adventures are designed for both seasoned adventurers and newcomers alike. Each session is a self-contained story packed with exploration, creative problem-solving, and thrilling challenges, allowing players to dive in without long-term commitments. With a revolving cast of players from our DeaconsTable Discord community, every adventure brings fresh faces, unique characters, and unexpected twists. Tailored for 2-hour sessions and adaptable for 4 players, by default, the mini-adventures scale dynamically to match group size and character levels. Whether you're navigating arcane ruins, braving treacherous groves, or confronting ancient foes, every session weaves a new tale in the ever-growing tapestry of Foreverland. These adventures will be available for sale on our Patreon page.
Hey there, welcome everybody. I'm going to unmute our players for today, and we will go around our table and introduce everybody to see who is who and who's playing what. And again, welcome all you role players, gamers, geeks, freaks, and everyone in between out in webland. So again, we'll start off with Kale. Kale, who are you, and who is Kale?
Well, my name is Blackland Ace. You can catch me on Twitter, X, and Discord as Blackland Ace. And I am playing Kale Thunderstride, a fell-handed giant who has dragon blood in his DNA and is trying to meld his giant heritage with his dragon heritage and his magic as a sorcerer.
And Gabba.
I'm Ken. I'm Ken the Friend on a lot of media platforms. I play the little feral goblin girl, Gabba, who had been known to be the barbarian of the group, but lately through adventures both in the Discord and out, she's grown attuned to nature a bit more. So now she's a barbarian druid and looking forward to the next adventure.
And Luca.
Hello there. This is on Discord Mama Cat, and I am playing Luca Greycliff. She's a forest-born human warlock who was raised in the Ether Bloom and is been living in Mistwood trying to find a source of the problem with the leaking of the Ether Bloom into the world.
Excellent.
They all live in.
And last but not least, our newest player, Merrick.
Howdy. Name is Gregory. Sorcery / Kamasu on the Discord. I am playing Merrick Ravengore. He is a Kalistar Blood Domain cleric who has been raised by the Temple of Shardenlar, the goddess of healing for Dwarven. He is a world walker.
Excellent. So welcome one and all. And for those out there watching, just so you know and understand, some of these character classes and ancestries are original, such as Kale Thunderstride is an original character. Well, not a class, but your ancestry is original. Luca is playing a forest-born human, not to be confused with a normal human, but because they do have abilities, it is slightly different. Merrick is what they call an off-worlder here, because normally not from Oyala Endor. And then, of course, Gabba being a goblin. Goblins are slightly different playable in this world. They are part of the tribal folk ancestries. So, again, it's a little bit different, but you'll notice that as time goes on. And hello, Killer Gal, and thanks for joining us. Long time no see, my friend. Long time no see. So we do have some new people coming back, or old people coming back, new people coming in. That's a good thing. So we are going to get started with this evening's one-shot adventure. as we've explained how things work. And I'm going to start things off right off the bat. You guys are in the town square at Mistwood. The town square of Mistwood bustles with activity as merchants haggle and townsfolk weave between vibrant stalls of the central market. Among the crowd is Santiago Valdezar, the proprietor of the Iron Wheel Trading Company, accompanied by a couple of wagons, one larger than the others, laden with sturdy crates. With a deep, commanding voice, he addresses the gathered adventurers. It was you four that got sent invites to be here. Greetings, my friends. Faristad's fields are failing, as you know, and the people grow desperate. To help them, Mistwood has prepared a gift, magical seeds imbued with vitality. The employee here, or my employee here, and he points to his caravan master, who is a small, looks like we lost probably Luca. I will.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It happens. It happens. His caravan master is a small kobold, a very dog-looking ancestry, and he has with him a companion, which is a dire weasel. So he refers to his caravan master. They will lead the way and lead the wagons and the carts, but they'll need capable protectors to ensure that the delivery arrives safely. There are whispers of bandits and beasts along the Golden Road. Hopefully, you guys will take up the task. The people of Faristad are depending on it. The caravan master, a grizzled yet kind-eyed traveler that you see, as I said, is a very dog-like individual. For those of you that are on our Discord, you've seen a picture of him. I don't have it loaded into the stream, otherwise I would show you. And he says, I've kind of wandered these roads for a while, so I've been through dangerous areas, and I'm sure I can guide the wagons for you. But I'll need your blades and your spells and your wits to help get us through, if that's okay. And with that, he approaches you, the four of you. Who's in charge? Do you have a person in charge? Or I know, like, we've seen you guys about town, and I know, I think Luca Greycliff and Gab, I've seen you two together, and Mikhail too. I'm not familiar with you. And he looks at Merrick a little bit odd. I'm not familiar with you, or I think I've seen you in town, but he just kind of stands there.
Just been wandering through. Decided to hop on the journey while I can.
Well, if you guys are all individuals, I'll let you know now that I've been authorized to pay you guys 80 gold pieces each upon arrival in Faristad. And there's a bonus, of course, for getting the journey done completely. That's travel time as well, because you are on the road for about 16 days, there, and 16 days back. So it's a bit of a long trip. But I am authorized to pay you that amount. And of course, if anything should happen, I mean, we can salvage what we find, of course. Are you guys game? Or is everybody interested?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Luca would
Thrill of adventure.
greet Creek, say we haven't formally met. I've seen you at the inn a couple of times while I was dining there. Gabba and I and Kale, was it Kale that went with us to Scarlet Grove? We accompanied a caravan before, so this is not new to us.
Okay.
So, and then she would greet Merrick and ask how long he'd been in Mistwood and what brought him here and what does he do?
I have not been in Mistwood for long, but a few days. I am a cleric specializing in the practices of healing taught by my teachers in the far off worlds that I'm from.
All right.
Yeah, you,
Well,
you guys
welcome.
clearly identify Merrick as you can clearly identify him as an off-worlder.
Mhm.
Definitely not any of the, at least no ancestries that you guys have come across. And I mean, you've between the three of you, you've had some experience with the peoples of Oyala and Dor for sure.
Luca is a young woman. You would guess just, barely into adulthood. And she would tell you that she has a patron who sent her out here from the Ether Bloom where she was raised. And that patron is a unicorn. And she is trying to help with the problems that has been happening in the Mistwood area, in the forest, in the town.
And that would have been something that you've picked up. I mean, you haven't been in town a long time, Merrick, but you would have picked up the fact that the town of Mistwood that sits on the edge of Mistwood Forest. Mistwood Forest is known for that because they're towering trees of spruce and pine, but only the bottom 3 feet of the forest is actually visible. 99.9% of the time, the top is all fog and mist that never clears. There is known to be 3 actual portals to the Ether Bloom, which is this world's version of the Feywild. A little bit, I think, more chaotic than the Feywild, to be honest with you. And as of late, there has been a lot of talk of corruption inside that forest coming from the Ether Bloom itself, and there's some kind of negative force working to corrupt the magics from the other side for sure. So you've kind of heard talk. I mean, it's rumored a lot around town. So you would have heard that mentioned numerous times for certain.
Meanwhile, Kale approaches Merrick and goes, "It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Kale. Kale Thunderstride." Puts his
Pleasure.
hand out
And
to
he
him.
would accept your hand. Name's Merrick Ravengore.
Does Merrick appear human?
Merrick he appears human. He has black hair with like a silver kind of bangs. And he's kind of got sunken eyes and a little bit of a palish skin.
Okay.
A little scrawny.
Gabba the goblin is taking a chicken and feeding it to Ember, the dire weasel, and just looks up and goes, "Gabba," and that's it.
So you take a chicken and offer it to
Ember, the dire weasel.
it sniffs it and looks up at its companion. I'd say master, but it doesn't really seem like they have like a master pet relationship. They're more almost like friends. So he looks at the kobold, and the kobold just kind of nods, and then he takes the chicken from you and eats it at that point. So
Because
very
remember
much
feeding it the chicken and the roaring fox, so that's why she was bringing it as a treat for it.
Yeah, that's fine. But it was accepting of you and just waited for permission to kind of to eat and whatnot. So with that, the kobold gets up on the lead wagon, which is hitched up to all like a couple of smaller wagons behind it, and he starts to jerks the reins on the horses that are there. And these are large horses that are pulling it forward. He says, "Well, we're heading out. Hopefully you guys are coming along. You can jump on a wagon or you can walk alongside. Either way, it's all good."
Okay.
Gabba will cling to the outside of the wagon, feeling it's going to be fun to do that.
Okay.
Is there one wagon, 2 wagons, 3?
There's actually 3. Like there's one
3.
large wagon in the front, which has got the horses hooked up to it, and then 2 small wagons chained to it in behind with other goods and items in it. But the main wagon seems to be more of a security wagon as well, something that's got a little bit of heft and weight to it.
If I sit on the go ahead.
You first.
If I sit on the second wagon, at the front of the second wagon,
Yep.
Will I be right behind the horses?
Well, there's no horses on the second wagon. As I said, it's just chained to the first wagon. So it's just.
Are they chained behind?
Yeah, it's more like a
Okay,
cart than a wagon. But yeah, you can sit on it.
That's what
no
I'll
problem.
do. I'll ride on the front of the second cart. Again.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Kale will load himself into the back of the third cart.
Okay. So you're in the back. You're just kind of sitting on the back, looking backwards in the road that you're leaving behind, type of deal.
No, actually, he would look forward, but he's just basically leaned back at the back of the last.
Okay. Well, you don't. We're in that position. You really don't see much other than the cart in front of you and this massive, big wagon up in the front lead. So that's what you're seeing in the back. Gabby, are you walking, or Merrick?
Yeah, she's going to cling to the side of the front wagon, just to ride it.
It's got some steps on it, so you're kind of sitting on hanging on one of the steps, holding on.
Yeah.
Would we know what we're transporting exactly?
You know it's some form of magical seed, because what has happened, and again, this has been all over town. There are early crops because the snow's just melted, and there are early crops that get planted in the Middlelands in certain communities like Faristad, which is the farming center of this region. And for some reason, when the snow melted, there are vast amounts of field and crop rot that just seem to have kind of come towards the town, and it's really caused some destruction and worry that there's going to be a shortage. So there is some magical seed being sent, most likely in the front wagon, but looks like there's other goods and stuff, that normal type of trade caravan stuff in the rest of the wagons, the carts.
Then I'd have Merrick roughly in the middle between the front and the second wagon. Just walking along the side.
You're just walking beside it. Not a problem. So this is pretty much the routine you guys get into for the next several days. I need, let's do, Gabba, roll me a D8, please.
I did forget to mention you would see a white raven frequently come and perch on Luca's shoulder.
5.
5?
Yep, 5.
Okay. So about 5 days into your journey, it's getting later in the day, and the Golden Road winds gently through patches of open fields. You've left the Mistwood Forest behind you. You've left Witch's Hill behind you, but you do hear the faint, cheerful strum of a lute carried on the breeze. Cresting this hill, you see a colorful wagon parked at the roadside. Its sides painted with vibrant scenes of heroic battles and of legendary beasts. A lively bard dressed in patchwork and flamboyant silks and a feathered cap stands atop a makeshift stage. He raises a hand, seeing you come over the top of the hill, and calls out, "Ah, travelers! Fortune smiles upon us, for you've arrived just in time for a tale of valor and courage. Join me and hear the story of the Starlight Knight who struck down the Shadow Worm and saved the kingdom."
What time of day is it?
It's approaching evening.
Make camp? Then listen to story?
Kale would look over at his boss, Salazar.
Creek.
Salazar's not there.
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Creek is there. The kobold.
He would look over at Creek then and go, should we stop, or are we just going to keep going?
I can do either or. It's you guys are the muscle. You tell me.
Where had you planned on stopping tonight? She would ask Creek.
We're about close to the end of a day. Keep in mind, this is your fifth day. You guys have pretty much had this routine where around this time of day, you kind of pull off to the side, you set up camp, you eat a meal, you take your long rest, and you move on the next day. This time, you happen to bump into somebody at around that same point. And it's pretty common. Like when you do stop, you do notice, because you're traveling at a regular pace, there are pre-used camping areas. You can make you notice that, like old fire pits and whatnot, or little areas that have been trampled a little bit more than others. Because again, this is the Golden Road. It's very well traveled by merchants and everything else. Normally, I mean, it's still early in the season, so there hasn't been a lot. But from last season, there's still these markings of old campsites.
Okay, Kale basically just says, I care not either way, so I'll let you three decide.
Only up the creek.
Sorry, you
Eric?
broke up?
Yeah, she said leave it up to Creek.
Oh, okay. Well, what kind of music is he playing?
He's just strumming on a lute, like just nothing. It's very laid back, like very medieval, casual type.
Gabba's just
He
excited.
says he wants you to come in and hear a tale, is what he's inviting.
Gabba's excited, and she's like, Music Man, because it's like Route 66, where it's like you have an attraction finally, so she's definitely interested.
All right. Merrick, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Would it appear that this is a open enough to have a good view on the area around?
It's pretty rolling. I mean, all the way along, you've just crested a hill. You've started to come down a little bit. There's a couple of trees off to the side, like where this wagon is off to the side, and it's all set up with the stage. There's a couple of trees as the backdrop, but most of this area right now is open field, tall grasses, open field.
I see no reason why this can't be the camp for the night. It is a defensible position.
Sounds
Right,
good.
so you guys, Creek pulls off to the side and goes and he starts tending to the horses. And of course, Ember, his dire weasel, is surprisingly doesn't spook the horses, especially when you see Creek's hand on their haunches. They seem very calm and to get along very well with him. So
Does
as you guys,
dire weasels stink like they usually do, or do
No.
they not stink? Oh,
he looks
okay.
very well groomed.
Hmm.
It's actually, when you see him, on occasion he'll stand up on his back two hind legs, and you'll see he's got like almost like a little leather vest, and attached to the leather vest, it looks like some kind of a pouch and maybe a scroll case of some kind.
That's adorable.
Hmm.
Kale goes to sit down next to Gabba. He just goes, are you okay, little friend?
To who?
Gabba.
Yes, why?
You looked a little down after our last journey.
Gabby not feel like talking about that. She looks a little hurt still by that, but she does look like she's not affected as much as she was back then.
So you guys are you're talking amongst yourself, and Creek is tending to the horses, and it's across the roadway where this guy's stage is set up, and he starts to strum just a little bit louder. Come hear the tale.
We're getting set up first. Patience. Yeah, and basically waiting for everyone to get settled first.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys take some time. You get your campsite set up. Do you kind of wander closer? Do you sit right in front of this guy's stage? Like there seems to be like old logs he's put out. There's a couple of rocks sitting there.
Kale
Yeah,
sits
we'll
on
head over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find a
So
log
you
to
guys
sit
make
on.
yourself. You guys make yourself comfortable. And he strums a little bit, and then all of a sudden he comes up right to the edge of the stage and he says, once, in a time of endless twilight, when the sun itself seemed caught between waking and asleep, there lived a noble knight, known only as the Starlight Knight. His armor gleamed like a shard of the heavens, and his blade, well, it was said to hum with celestial power. From the shadowed mountains emerged a great terror, the Shadow Worm, a dragon cloaked in darkness so thick that even the brightest flames could not pierce it. It descended upon the lands, devouring the light and leaving despair in its wake. Villages fell silent. Even the bravest of warriors trembled as it approached. The Starlight Knight, with no court nor crown to answer to, took up the cause. Alone, he ventured to the worm's lair, a cavern that swallowed light and echoed with the beast's thunderous growls. They say he called upon the stars themselves as he entered the maw of darkness. His armor burned brighter than ever. The worm's shadow claws and venomous breath were no match for his radiance. After a battle that shook the very earth, the Starlight Knight struck the final blow, his sword cleaving through the worm's heart. The shadow dissipated, and the stars above glowed brighter than they had in centuries. The knight emerged victorious through his light, though his light had dimmed, a price worth paying, he said, before vanishing into the twilight, leaving behind only a shard of his celestial armor as a beacon for the ages. And with that, he steps back and he just kind of strums his lute a little bit and lets the story sink in for those of you that heard.
A fine tale. A fine tale.
Why did
Thanks for
Worm get
noticing,
shadow? How did Worm get shadow? Did Worm get sick?
It's just a story. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, can I roll a Arcana check
What are you trying to determine?
to determine if the shadow the shadow worm, I should say, is something from like an arcane lore he's heard about.
You can make for that. You can make an Arcana check. Yes. Sorry for the long-winded story there, Killer.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
Flavor context here.
That's a 24.
24. Well, you do know that there is dragons of darkness, and this could very well have been one of them, like an ancient dark dragon. So it's something that could very well have been.
Yeah, I would just turn to Gabba and go, I've heard of ancient dark dragons of the past. They haven't been around as far as I know of lately.
Oh,
You're muted,
Gabba. Always happens at some point.
Sorry. Were they born dark?
Yes.
That sounds sad.
They're not kind creatures to deal with.
Merrick and Luca, make me a perception check. Because Gabba and Kale are in a conversation.
That is a 19.
Okay. Luca?
Let's see. That is a 17.
Okay. You guys both notice. I mean, it doesn't. You're kind of watching Kale and Gabba have this conversation, kind of this back and forth a little bit. Half interested, but not really. You know, one of those situations. The performer, the storyteller, has actually gotten off the stage, and he's just kind of walking over to you with his hat in his hand, almost like he's asking for a tip or a donation. He hasn't said anything, though. He's very quiet, just listening to you guys talk amongst yourselves, and he's just kind of holding the hat.
Luca would drop a couple silver in the hat.
Okay.
I'll drop a gold.
Oh, okay.
Got one to spare.
Generous.
Gabba reaches into her hair and then pulls out a good berry and puts it in the hat.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you guys didn't notice at first, but when you noticed, all of a sudden you kind of glance over at Luca and Merrick putting coin in this guy's hat, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so you did a good berry."
At this point, Kale just goes and follows suit, but he's assuming everyone's supposed to just ramp up, so he just puts in 2 gold coins.
Okay. So with that, I mean, there's some brief conversation, amongst with this guy and you guys, and you just talk amongst yourselves. He, invites you to sit by his fire for a while, and then eventually you retire back over to your side where Creek is basically settled the horses down for the night and readied their evening as it goes. The next morning, when you do get up, the traveling merchant is gone with tracks heading off to the north, off-road through the field. So you see him headed that way. You guys can take note on your sheet. On your first attack, your next attack, you will get advantage.
Nice.
And you guys continue along your quest and your journey. So 3 more days go by. So after 8 days of this arduous
Halfway
travel
there.
along. Oop, what was that?
I said we're halfway there.
Almost, yeah. Along the Golden Road, the caravan finally approaches the Silver Vale Run, which is a glittering river renowned for its mystical origins. The journey here has been long, winding through meadows and rocky hillsides, past small clumps of trees and haunting rise of Witch's Hill. The caravan finally crests a hill, and the Golden Bridge comes into view, or, strangely, what remains of it. The centuries-old stone structure, adorned with carvings depicting the journey of the Silver Vale Run, now stands partially collapsed, stones falling into the water. The water churns below, and the caravan's wagons creak with uncertainty as the horses rear up nervously. Creek, who's in charge of the caravan, looks to you for guidance. You'll need to find a way across while keeping the wagon and the cargo safe.
Was this bridge supposed to be intact, Creek? Have you heard about this?
Last I heard it was. But it is an old bridge, and we've had some pretty bad storms that we just got out of there near winter.
Any paths that look like anyone? Oh, well, never mind. That answers that question.
Yep.
I was going to say, any close paths that look like well-traveled travelers found a way around it already?
No, it looks like you got to go over it, or try and get your way through the waters, and the water looks pretty violent down below.
Is it stable enough for the wagons and horse?
Well, with that, you'd have to go and take a look. Make me... So we got Gabba kind of going out to do a little bit of inspection on the bridge. So Gabba, you can make me a survival roll, please.
Oh, good. That's a nat 20.
Okay.
Or a 24.
You're pretty sure you see a safe passage for the wagon to get across the bridge. Anybody else going to do anything?
Kale goes, I'm the heaviest out of us all. I'll go test it out next.
So you're
Luca
going
would
to-
start separating the horses from the wagon
Okay.
in anticipation of leading them one at a time.
Okay. Creek kind of looks at you and goes, well, how's the wagon going to get across? It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, basically,
Oh, I thought we were transporting horses too. My apologies.
Well, there's 2 horses pulling the big wagon in the front.
Yes, I thought we were having horses that as livestock to also deliver.
No,
Sorry.
this is true.
Then I wouldn't do that.
Would it be
Sorry?
So Kale is going to just basically not just stand on the bridge, but he's basically jumping up and down, trying to see if his weight would damage the bridge anymore.
So you've gone to the kind of the center of the bridge?
Yes, and he's
So I
basically
am going to have you make me an athletics check, please.
18. And now I need to check my athletics thing, which is a strength thing. Dirty 20.
Okay. Seems pretty sturdy at this point. Merrick, because the others are Luca was kind of looking at the horses, seeing if there's a way to get them across and realizing that no, that wouldn't work. You're kind of there looking at this churning river below. Make me a perception roll.
That is a 17.
A 17. When you're looking at the white water basically down below and the rocks, you also notice something amongst those rocks. There are some very large river serpents in the waters themselves below the bridge. So it's definitely not something you want to do. So you've gotten, Kale, you think you've found the most secure section of the middle. Gabba, you think you know the best way for the wagon wheels to go and where not to go. So what are you guys doing at this point?
Well,
The water here appears to be infested with water serpents. I do not recommend getting close to it if we can.
Gabba would call up to the horses. She's like, talk to Gabba. And she casts speak with animals, and she's like coaxing
Okay.
the horses. Safe way, come.
Meanwhile, Kale is just using his hand and fanning everyone over here like it seems safe.
All right, so Gabby, you go up. Kale's leading the way as well, finding like these safe spots to the other side. You guys are moving forward.
Luke would walk alongside and make sure that it was staying along the safe path.
Yeah, you guys are all pretty much getting across. It looks like your companions were correct, picking the right way across. And as the last wagon creaks across the remaining stone arches, the golden bridge groans one final time, and it collapses entirely into the rushing waters of the Silver Vale Run. The caravan master, Creek, breathes a sigh of relief as the bridge falls and you guys are safely on the other side. With a resolute nod, he sits there and he, cracks the reins again as making the caravan press onward. It looks like the dangers of this journey are never ending and have only just begun. He's like, we have to get the seed to Faristad.
How we get back now?
I was thinking that too.
That's something you're going to have to think on. So you guys press on, and 2 days after your harrowing crossing of the Silver Vale Run, the caravan approaches a crucial juncture where a small road veers northward towards Faristad. The signpost creaks in the breeze, its faded letters barely legible under the afternoon sun. As the caravan slows to consider the route, the surrounding woods grow unnervingly quiet, and there is a bunch of woods around this particular road north. Not heavy, but again, this is mostly grassland. This is just one of those little clumps of trees that you're going through, and with a sharp whistle, a volley of arrows thuds into the dirt near your feet. Figures emerge from the shadow, the weapons glinting menacingly. A rough voice shouts, "Leave the goods and walk away, and you'll leave in peace instead of pieces." To make matters worse, snarling hounds emerge from the underbrush as well, their teeth bared and their eyes locked on the caravan.
You've picked the wrong wagon, friend. We don't have any goods. Nothing but seed. Move on and let us pass.
Right, let me bring this here. Where is here? Whoop, there we go. This is what you see this
And
point.
as she finishes saying that, she does a little series of motions and words, casting a spell, which they can see. And to this kind of clear coating of ice covers her entirely as she casts Armor of Agathis on herself.
Okay. Anybody else doing a preemptive action at this point?
Kale will actually do a preemptive action. He's going to summon Mirror Image and basically make it look like there's more to them than they think by summoning. How many duplicates did they do again?
3 generally.
3.
Three duplicates of himself in front of everything.
Oh, you're doing it in front of everything?
Yeah. And he just goes, "Are you sure you wish to play this game?"
Gabba does something similar, but to the wolves. She's going to kind of hunch down, bare her teeth, stare at the wolves, and kind of slowly shake her head, kind of warning them this is a bad idea.
Okay. So that's what you're doing, Merrick. Are you doing anything specific?
Would it be possible to cast guidance on myself and then try to
Yep.
peer to see if we are surrounded or if this is just the whole group in front of us?
You can definitely do guidance and make a perception check.
$18.
This is the whole group you see. There are 4 what looks like bandits, a leader, and those are 2 dire wolves. So that's what goes on. At this point, we're going to do initiatives.
Okay.
Gabba?
At 20 for a 24.
24.
Good dice.
Kale.
16 total.
Merrick.
18. 18.
18. And Luca.
17.
17. Nice. Okay. All right. So at the top of the round is Gabba. You have basically done that. I need you to make me a persuasion or an intimidation.
Intimidation.
Now,
23.
you really haven't done anything intimidating as of yet, but you can choose to try to be more.
Yeah, that's kind of, she's digging into that nature, and it was a natural 19 for a 23.
23. With that, the 2 dire wolves take kind of a little bit of a step back. But the bandits have not done any actions as of yet. Do you do anything else?
She will move forward and take a step past the wall of Kyle. Her bonus action is she will induce a rage, and she'll bring out her angry tail that she's sort of whipping back and forth as she's staring down this bandit leader.
Okay.
And that's her turn.
Alrighty. And that brings us to me. What are they going to do? Let's see. They will. Yes, I think they will. Kale. They can do Kale. They really can't see Merrick much. Luca. So do 2 on Kale. Yep.
I also forgot to tell you that I did roll for Thistledown for initiative of 21.
All right. Sorry, then I'll let Thistle go first.
Right now, I have him doing a whole action for a help action.
Okay, he's doing the help action.
And he's invisible.
Alrighty. So does a 18 hit you, Kale?
I believe so. Yes, it does.
Okay. Well, then the 23 is going to hit you too. So
Is it one of your duplicates or yourself?
yeah, that's
that
you
it
got to
hits?
roll to find out.
1d4?
Is it D4? I thought it was a D6.
What was it?
D4 to see which one it hits.
Oh, yeah, the D4. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So on the first arrow, we'll do one arrow at a time.
2.
So it hits number 2, and it goes bye-bye.
And 4, which is probably Kale.
Yeah, that would be you, Kale. So you only take 4 points of piercing damage. And on Luca,
Pulls it right back out.
is 18, 22 to hit Luca, and a
Yep.
11. So the 11 I think misses for sure.
What did he hit me with?
An arrow.
Okay, then I don't think he triggers the. I'm going to get this damage. That's going to melee attack.
It's 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
And the last guy is the leader.
What is
Oh, it's a D20.
And this guy is going to move forward. As you see the leader look at Gaba, look at you, and he says, I gave you guys warning, and you see him do one of these for this guy who had already taken a shot on Luca. And as he does, he steps over to you, drops his bow, and pulls out his scimitar and slices towards you.
Who is attacking who?
One of the bandits is attacking Gaba. And that is a 23 to hit.
Okay, I'm going to try something. Her tail comes soaring towards him. That is a 4. Damn it, that's a 21, so that hits.
Okay. So you hit him in retaliation?
Well, so basically reaction, her tail is trying to knock the blow away, but it just wasn't strong enough, and the blade still hits. So that strike failed, and she gets impacted.
You take 5 points of slashing damage.
5 reduced to 3 because she's raging. Cool.
Okay, and that is the end of my action, and that takes us to Merrick and Luca. You're on deck.
How many did we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enemies. I would like to take a couple steps to the northwest towards Luca.
Up here.
And then while I have all 3 of them in my sight, I would like to cast Bless.
Okay. So you're hitting Gaba. Yeah, because you can see Kale there, Luca, and Gaba, so all 3 of them. Okay, so you guys are under the effect of a bless spell.
Okay.
What does that do?
And that gives them...
So Bless lets you add a D4 to any attack roll or saving throw. And then do remember that we have advantage on our next attack roll due to the song that we listened to, the story.
Yeah, your first full attack, you get an advantage. Okay, so is that the end of your action?
Yes.
Okay,
Luca, you're up, and Kale, you're on deck.
Does that advantage mean if I choose a spell that makes them make a saving throw that they are throwing that saving throw at disadvantage?
No, it's only on your first actual attack. So if it's a ranged spell attack or something like that, then it still counts. You
Yes.
get advantage.
Okay, well,
I
I
don't-
think what I want to do is I want to cast Shatter right between those back two guys, far enough back that it gets them in the 10-foot radius and does not get Gabba.
So you're thinking here or more here?
Where you were the first time.
Around here. So you're just
Yeah,
trying
right
to
in
catch
there.
these two.
These
Okay.
two, yeah.
All right.
So they need to make a
Spell
con
roll.
saving throw.
13
Fail.
and a 12. So fail. So they both
Fail. Okay, I'm rolling damage. I rolled 18 points. Right?
18 points of damage
Yes. To both of them.
to both of them. Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, I should put them back on the board and put the dead token on it. Is that way you know they're there?
Oh, it got them both. Excellent.
Nice, yeah.
Yes, you did. Okay. And is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll stay
Kale?
there.
Okay. Kale is going to align himself so he can hit the leader. And he's gonna he's gonna be like, "You were the one who was warned, my friend," and throws a level 2 chromatic orb at him. And I gotta pick a random element. Ooh, lightning.
Okay. All right.
So if this hits, I could roll 48. That's 17 with advantage. That is nat 20.
Nice.
That's good.
That's going to fry him, I think. I'm going to roll 48 now. 1. 8. 8.
Nice.
7. So
24.
24. Lightning ball.
Wow, he's looking pretty hurt. Looking kind of frazzled and fried at this point, to be honest with you.
He's probably going, maybe this was a mistake.
That brings us to the top of the round, to Gabba.
Gabba has sword too, and she pulls out her scimitar and does a swing at the leader.
Okay.
This will be advantage to 24 to hit, so plus 1. But that's only going to be, 8 points of slashing. Actually, no. Let's see which version I have. 8. Sorry. There it is. Oh, okay. 10 points of slashing overall. 8 for the slashing and 2 for Fury of the Small.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, he's looking pretty hurt.
And that's it. She's just growling.
Okay. And that brings us to Thistle. Is he still doing the help action?
Yes.
Okay. And if that's the case, then we're on to Merrick. Or actually, no, we're on to me. My bad. We'll do a swing back on Gabba.
So who's Thistle again?
Thistle's
Thistle is
the
familiar.
White Raven.
Oh, okay. I'm
She
like,
took-
who's a player?
She took
Got it.
back to the chain. She has a familiar, which I haven't
Nice.
been using for some reason,
23
but
to hit
I'm
on
going to now.
Gabba.
23?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm going to try another tail swipe. Maybe I'll get lucky. That's a D8. Oh, that's only 19. That hits.
You get an additional D4 for attack rolls and saving throws. I don't know if that applies.
It's
Oh yes, bless.
it's well, no, it's a special roll to raise my AC, so I don't think it counts.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. 6 points of piercing damage.
All right, reduce to
Jabs
3.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And that takes us to the bandits, as they will make shots on to Kale as well. That is a 4, 19 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
And a 23 to hit.
19 and 23. They both hit.
So who do they hit?
Time to roll the D20 and see if
Or the D whatever, D6.
D6 you have to roll in order to actually
See which one I hit. So 1 and 2 is you, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
2. 6.
So
You get hit with 1 and this guy goes bye-bye.
another kill down.
As you take 3 points of piercing damage.
Okay, and I believe I took 4 points before, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's the end of my turn. Now we take it to Merrick. You're up.
Let me just check. A first level higher. Okay. Okay. Does anyone look particularly healthy?
Does any
Well off?
our group?
No, like
The enemies.
the enemies. Anyone that looks above bloody or anything like that.
The leader looks bloodied. He's in bad shape.
Okay.
The
The other
two
two
over
have,
there haven't been hit yet.
Let me check. Think. Yeah, I'll go north and then go east to get between those two bandits.
Yep.
One more. Just trying to squeeze in. And then I'm gonna cast Words of Radiance, and I will need a con save. DC 14.
3 failed. Natural 20 on the one below you.
Okay. Then the one that did not fail will take 1d6 radiant.
Okay.
5.
5 points. All right, and the other one's just unaffected.
Unaffected.
Okay.
That's my turn.
All right, and that brings us to Luca and Kale. You're on deck.
Let's see. I think that Luca will target the leader with an agonizing eldritch blast. What do I do again for Thistle's help action?
I need you to make now. Do you have Thistle's? You have Thistle stats, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I need you to make a perception check from Thistle. Because it's like he's trying to help you target a spell. So target's 15. DC is 15.
Yeah. I rolled. What am I rolling again? Perception?
Perception for Thistle, yeah.
Do, 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 do.
It's a new bard.
Oh, I just met it. 15.
15. Okay, meets it, beats it. So you get a +2 to your spell attack bonus.
Okay.
Nice.
So I rolled a 14 on my spell attack. Would hit
Okay.
anyway.
Plus bless D4.
Plus the D4 plus the 2.
You hit.
Okay.
You definitely hit.
Yeah, I would make sure I hit that. All right, so that my Eldritch Blast is going to do 8 points of damage.
Okay. He's barely standing.
Okay.
At that, he drops his weapons and he puts his hands up.
And Peter does, huh?
Just as a reaction, he just
Tie him up, Gabba, she says. And then she turns.
Come back.
She turns to the other two.
as the one leader does this.
Surrender.
The one at the bottom that was unhit by Merrick slashes at Merrick as a reaction.
Okay. I got to.
17 hit you, Merrick?
Merrick, you muted it.
You did.
It does indeed.
Okay. 4 points of slashing damage. And as he does that, he drops his weapon and puts his hands up. And so does the other one follow suit.
Okay, Merrick, slap that one and then tie him up too.
So basically, you guys, they are literally surrendering. You have 2 dead bandits. You have a bandit leader who's looking really, really bad, and 2 other bandits that are, well, one pretty much unscathed, other than the fact he's probably taken a punch in the face from Merrick as he gets bound, and the other one, the wolves have gone. They've long gone into the woods. They took their hint and screwed up. Sorry, I'm just looking at just learning. Well, let's share it with the group. Why not? There we go. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got an invite for you, Killer. Just kind of taking a brief pause here. This Sunday is our Newcomer Sunday, where every Sunday in our Discord, we focus on people who want to learn D&D or people who just don't know where to start. Different experience levels. So a lot of people, even experienced people who know D&D, don't know where to start in the Discord. We will help with that. We can guide you through it and really get you started. It doesn't mean you have to start right away, but we can literally put you on the path so that you get a better feel for the game itself and what dice are needed to roll. Because I'll be honest with you, when a DM says, like when I'm telling these guys roll initiative, almost every time you roll a dice, it's a D20. That's generally what happens, unless I ask you to roll a different die, and then I'll basically tell you ahead of time. I'll be like, roll a D4, D6, whatever. So you kind of get the feel, but it's 99% of the time it's going to be a 20-sided dice roll. So, but if you want to come join us in the Discord, you know where we are. On Sunday, we will, one of us will be around to answer questions and give you a little bit more one-on-one if you want. So anyway, that being said, what are you guys doing at this point? Creek just kind of sits there and he's like, he looks really happy. He's clapping his hands. He goes, "You guys did really well. What are we going to do with them?" I say we take their stuff.
You can do what you want with their stuff.
A little bit of naughtiness behind Creek, even though he looks like a dog or a hound, but he's got this cute look about him. But then all of a sudden, he's got this kind of fiendish, cunning, almost fox-like, but definitely fox. And he's like, "Let's take their stuff."
Well, yes, I think Luca would probably tie them, hands to ankles, so they have to walk hunched over. And then one to each other, so they're kind of tied together.
Okay, don't tie it to leader yet, because I want to do something with the leader now. Kale's gonna actually approach the leader. He's gonna hold up a hold action chromatic orb and go, "Now I'm going to ask you give us everything you have. He's doing a power move right now.
The guy is just like, he's got his arms open and up, kind of like, surrender. Take what you want.
Good.
You guys do on them. You find obviously their weapons. They've all got studded leather armor. You find a grand total of 40 gold pieces amongst them, which is quite a lot for a small bandit group. You do find a potion of healing, and there is a silver dagger on the leader. Non-magical, it's just a silver dagger.
Okay, I turn to everybody else and go, does anybody else use a dagger?
Luca pats her dagger at the side of her hip and says, I've got one already, thanks.
Turns to the others.
Gabba will just yell at the leader. It's like, now don't be bad. And she'll just stomp back towards the caravan, all grumpy like.
You better definitely take the dagger
forward a little bit. So are we leaving him behind?
No, we're going to make him walk in front of the wagons and take him to Faristad to face justice.
Okay.
Are any of them notably spellcasters? Anything with like a spellcasting focus or no?
You don't see anything on them that gives them away as a spellcaster.
Kale just keeps the silver dagger with him then.
Yes.
Who would like to hold on to the potion?
You, I guess.
Well, you can, Merrick.
All right, so Merrick, you can hold on to the potion again.
Yeah, he goes. Kale just goes, I have no need for it.
I have one.
So Creek is marching them in front of the wagon, making sure the horses don't trample them, as they're kind of tied, their arms tied as they move forward and move along. As you guys watch them, and you guys leave the clearing, or leave the pathway through the trees, and it doesn't take long, about another half an hour, and you're actually out of that particular group of trees. And the caravan rolls onward, and Creek kind of says, "We really can't stand. We can't have any more delays. We've got to go." And it rolls forward, and it goes through some golden fields and a couple more sparse groves of trees. The distant silhouette at this point of Faristad can be seen ahead down the road, growing larger with each passing hour. And you're approaching dusk. It begins to settle, and you spot a lone figure standing in the middle of the road ahead, cloaked in patchwork robe of deep greens and browns. The setting sun cast their shadow long across the path, and the glimmer of silver light reflects off the staff they carry. Creek halts the caravans, and the figure calls out in a calm yet commanding voice, "Travelers, you carry something very precious, and the wind tells me danger still follows you. I come as a friend, but only if you can prove yourselves worthy of my aid."
And what do you mean by that?
Yes.
Well, I'm Elowin Leafshade. You guys can roll me a history check or a nature check if you're so.
I don't know if there's any point in Luca doing that, since she is.
Actually, Luca, you can make me a nature check along with Gabba.
Oh.
That's just a 10 for Gabba.
Okay.
Would it even be possible for me to know this since I'm not from here?
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about?
No,
probably not if you're an outworlder. Probably not.
When I said being from the Ether Bloom, I might not know who that.
So how'd you get on your nature there, Luca?
Nature. Can't seem to find my nature. Should be right there. Oh, it's only a +2. Oh, I rolled good. 21.
You know the name Elowin Leafshade. Elowen is a druid of the Grovebound Circle who's one of the protectors of the Ether Bloom Gates. You know her motives are very altruistic, but her assistance isn't always guaranteed. She always seems to have something that she's looking for or looking to test individuals in whatever. She doesn't really specify. She just kind of just wants you to kind of prove your worth. And when you ask and Kale asks, well, what do you mean by that? Well, what makes you worthy to carry something so vital to the balance of the land?
I don't think anybody was worried about that. They just needed to get it here, and now you are interfering in that. I think we'll just move on, and you can help us if you decide to. Not. What do you guys think?
Kale just basically says to the person, "We are strong, therefore we are protectors." That is as simple as that. Now, are you going to help us, or are you going to keep getting in our way?
She just kind of steps aside into the plants and trees that are behind her and beside her, and she disappears from sight.
Oh,
and you guys press on.
Geba's kind of reluctant. She almost wants to go follow, but it's like she'll just yell out.
An odd encounter.
Gaba and friends keep things safe. That's about it.
So she's gone from sight, and as the caravan begins to roll forward again under the gathering twilight, you hear her voice once again from the wood, a little bit more distant, and it lingers in your minds as you hear it. The balance is fragile, and the path ahead is treacherous, so tread carefully, travelers. The road stretches on, and the distant lights of Faristad shimmer like stars on the horizon.
Christ, you didn't say anything about our prisoners.
Nope, she didn't say a word about them.
Okay.
You guys could have chose to use that as part of your rationale to why you're worthy or whatever, but I mean, you handled it in that regard. We're kind of like, okay, move aside. We're going to do things anyway. So she did. With that, go. So after 4 days of travel northward from the Golden Road itself, the caravan finally approaches the gates of Faristad. The golden fields surrounding the settlement seem less vibrant than expected. Streaks of rot and wilted crop visible to the west. For the past 3 days, an unnatural blight has crept closer, leaving barren patches in its wake. The source of this decay becomes clear as you reach the town's edge. The ground trembles beneath your feet, and a low, resonant growl from the nearby tree line. A monstrous figure emerges, wreathed in shadow and glowing with an unnatural light. Its hulking form seems to absorb the vitality around it. Farmers and the militia cry out in fear and they run away. A cursed guardian steps forward. You've seen guardians before in the ether bloom.
Yes.
This is definitely, it's cursed. It steps forward and its voice booming. The seeds must not pass. Balance must be preserved. And I will.
Luca would ask, why would it be balance to have everything rotting? If there was balance, things would be growing normal.
I think he means balance as in the balance of life and death. That these plants, these crops need to be destroyed.
Let's see, who's more from here? You've been doing some traveling, Merrick, where, Luca, you're from the Ether Bloom, so you really wouldn't know too much about the lands overall. Gaba, you
Kale's
know
from Osafia.
Yeah. Kale's from Osafia, so you have no clue. Gabby, you've heard, and Merrick, you've been traveling here and there. For the last decade, the crops have been extremely bountiful in this region.
Is this thing that's in front of us humanoid?
It is humanoid. It's got 2 legs, 2 arms,
But it looks
but
corrupt.
it's large.
I mean, it doesn't look normal. It looks corrupt.
It looks corrupt for sure. It looks like something of nature that's been twisted, and it's about 12 feet tall.
Gabba turns to put Luca on the spot. It's like, Luca, plant's sick. How do we fix? Because she knows Luca's an herbalist, or at least does a lot with plants.
Well, the quick fix is why we're coming here with this magic seed. It's the quick fix.
At this point, Kale's actually going to look at the guardian and goes, "Look, you are getting in our way again. There are too many people getting in our way. You can either move aside, or we can just destroy you next. I'm getting a little tired of these distractions."
Don't have to destroy everyone.
Okay, so you make that declaration, and everybody can roll me initiative again.
Oops.
I was trying to dissuade him.
Sorry.
Gabba.
I was gonna roll intimidation if I could, because I was gonna speak into his mind.
That's kind of what I was trying to do, intimidate him, but obviously that didn't work.
22.
22 for Gabba.
No.
For Merrick.
8 for Gabba.
8 for Gabba. Kale.
16 for Kale.
16. Luca.
16 for Luca and 13 for Thistledown.
Okay, so I believe Luca's got a higher dex than Kale. So
I have a +1.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Luca goes for Kale. So at the top of the
plus
round
3
is
dex.
Merrick. You're first up.
I would like to do the. I would like to activate my mind link on the creature.
Okay.
Any creature. Wait, how far is it?
25 feet.
25 feet. I would like to cast the mind link, which I can go up to 30 feet. They do not have to understand the language I speak, but I'm telepathically communicating. And I would like to kind of roar into his head.
So you
to bring balance
reach out your mind, and you sense this life essence, and you connect telepathically, and you let out this roar. And what do you say?
To seek balance, there is already great death amongst us. You must achieve a life. Be gone, or you shall join your death.
Do you do anything along with this, or is it just a message?
Probably drawing my rapier.
Okay, so you're drawing a rapier, and as you're doing this, and you say it, and just as you complete the link and your words, it hits you that it just fell on an empty shell. There was no connection. There was no link. You thought you grasped the life essence, but there was no psychic link there whatsoever as you did that. And you've drawn your rapier. And with that, we go to next up on the round. That would be... so the first thing that it does is it moves right up to the wagon. It will use...
He's going to try to destroy the wagon, isn't he?
Yeah. He reaches up and he slams both fists on the wagon with all of his might. I need every creature within 15 feet. That's pretty much all of you, to make a DC.
Would he have had to walk past?
He's just walked right in between the group, right up to the front of the wagon, the horses.
So he hasn't gone into attacks of opportunity areas.
No, if he leaves a combat ring, then it's an attack. So you guys need to make a strength saving throw, DC 14.
I rolled an 18. Plus 2.
Dirty 20.
Gabba had a 19.
A 10.
Merrick, you're prone. You're knocked on your ass. As this, whatever it is, just did the horses themselves rear up as his fists come down, and it shatters the linking that ties the horses to the wagon, and that shattered, and the horses scatter. And that is his turn. And with that, we will go to Luca and Kale. You're on deck.
Okay, Luca would immediately shoot an agonizing eldritch blast at the guardian.
Okay.
That is a that is a 16. Is that hit?
16 barely hits. Yes.
Okay. Or it's 10 damage.
Because that's force damage, right?
Yes.
Okay. You damage it. And is that the end of your turn?
Okay. Yes, it is.
Okay. Kale, you're up.
First, I'm going to Font of Magic, which allows me to convert my sorcery points into a level 2 spell, which I'm going to do.
Okay.
And I'm going to just throw a chromatic orb at second level. With him just saying outright, I am tired of this stuff.
What kind of damage? What kind of elemental?
I'm checking that now. Ooh, fire! Okay. Rolling to see if I hit. Okay, now I need to check my spell attack thing. $23 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, 48. 3, 8, 3, 3.
Okay, so how much damage?
16 damage, I think. Oh, 17, sorry. I miscounted.
Okay. And that takes us to Thistle. Is Thistle just doing help action?
Yes.
Okay. And Gabba.
Gabba's just like, you're being bad, and she'll just punch him. Nothing special, just ball up the fist, and that is a 19 to hit.
Yep.
And that's just a flat 4 bludgeoning.
Okay, so it doesn't seem to do as much damage as you think it does.
That's it. She's like, ow.
That's it. So we are back at the top of the round with Merrick. Takes half your movement to stand up.
Is there a way to? I will do so. Is there any way to tell if necrotic would actually deal damage?
There's no way of knowing for certain. You're not familiar with this particular creature or the corruption or the curse that's affecting it.
I will just simply. How close am I? Am I in front of it or
And you are about 10 feet away in front of it.
10 feet away?
Beside the yeah.
Okay. I will back up and I will cast Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
I have advantage because it's my first attack roll, correct?
Yep. Hello, A Shadow Lily. Welcome.
So, what did I miss?
Merrick is in the middle of attacking
20.
with a cutting bolt.
Okay. I don't know why it kicked me off that time. I
22
just
to
put
hit.
my mic off.
You hit.
Yeah. 14 radiant and then 3 necrotic. And then the next person will have advantage.
Well, the radiant damage, when you see it wash over this thing, it kind of withers some of the plant material that's on it, but the necrotic doesn't seem to do anything. Okay.
And did we long rest from the previous
Oh
fight?
yeah,
you
days
guys have long
ago.
rested. Yeah, sorry,
What
I
are
should have
the
told you that.
prisoners doing in the middle of all this? Are they just kind of cowering off to the side?
They're just kind of like backing off to the side, just staying out of the way because their hands are bound, so they're kind of went in the direction of the horses. Although they're not going far because at the top of the barracks, the towers, even though they're not out really doing much of anything, there are some crossbows trained down in that general vicinity, but they seem to be more trembling with fear as they're looking down. So not knowing what this thing definitely is. So that is the end of Merrick's turn, and that takes us to me. With that, this large thing, this cursed guardian, raises its arms once again in the air, but instead of smashing them down just fists, you see this giant spectral greatsword appear in its hands. But as it also activates Aura of Dread. So Gaba and Luca need to make me a wisdom saving throw. I think you're the only two within 10 feet. Yeah. Even if I go to the edge, you're still...
Okay.
No.
21.
Kale. So
30-20.
Kale as well.
Oh, Kale.
Yeah.
And it was a dexterity save?
No, wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom save, okay. I got a 6.
Okay. Where is... I'm going to try and find it now.
First bad roll of the day.
It's you. Kale, you are frightened.
Ah, wait. It's frightened?
Yep.
I have a thing for that. Advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
Okay, roll me one more time.
Nat 20.
There you go. You're not frightened. It just the chill comes up your spine there for a moment as this thing does it. And as he's doing that, he does swing down with the greatsword onto the wagon.
Oh, he is pissing off.
As
Kale.
basically you see Ember and Creek scatter as the front seat of the wagon is now split in two, revealing an opening into the back of the wagon where you can see inside there is a bound chest in the center of the wagon inside. And with that is the end of his turn, and it is moving on to Luca. You're up.
Yes, a second. I'm trying to get my cat out of my clean laundry basket. Get out of there. Sorry.
It's all right.
That distraction in the background.
Always a good thing to have.
All right, so let's see. This thing is making me mad. I really want to hit it with the Eldritch Blast because I do more damage with the Eldritch Blast. And I know you said it seemed like it took extra damage from the Radiant, though?
Nope.
Nope.
It just took damage
Okay.
from Radiant, for sure.
All right, well, Eldritch Blast is then. And that definitely is going to hit with a 24.
Nice.
That is an 8. It's plus 4. 12.
12 points of damage?
12 points of damage.
All right. It's looking worn a little bit. Not bloodied for certain, but it's definitely maybe close to half its hit points.
All right. Keep hitting it, guys. We're getting it. See if you can push it away
Kale,
from the
you're up.
wagon.
Okay. Kale's gonna
Kale, see if
call
you
out.
push it away.
Kale's gonna call out to Gabba and go, Gabba, push this thing away from the cart. And then he's just going to get angrily throw an acid level 2 again, chromatic orb at this creature.
An acid blast? Okay.
It's called an acid chromatic orb, but beyond a point.
Acid damage.
Looks like an acid blast.
So that's a 22 to hit.
You hit.
Time to roll the damage. 8. 8. 6.
22.
1.
23 points of damage. Now it looks bloodied. Or the equivalent of. No blood coming out of this thing, but the equivalent of. And Gabby, you're up.
She's not sure why it has to push it away, but first off, she's going to do her rage. It's like, God, stop doing that. And she's going to bring out her claws. Her little kitty whiskers come out. And then she's going to try to push the guy away. Or try to.
Okay. So you make a physical attack. Roll to hit.
Okay. It's a nat 20.
Okay, nat 20. You actually push it back.
Nice.
10 feet.
So goblin raging.
Don't do any damage.
This huge Forest Guardian.
And then she'll kind of move up into its face to try to keep it from going to the cart.
Okay, so now you're doing one of these. Okay. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
All right. Top of the round. We're at Merrick.
I say that radiant damage was really good.
Okay. For the cart, there has the chest, correct? Like in the back.
Sorry, I just realized something here, guys. My apologies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That would have helped.
There it is.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look, we have a map.
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay. We'll do another rate. Guiding. No. Yeah, we'll do guiding bolt. This
Okay.
time at level 2.
All right.
Does a 21 hit?
Yes.
$15. 16 radiant and then a 4 necrotic.
16 radiant and 4 necrotic. It looks teetering.
And then the next person to attack it has advantage.
Okay.
And I would like to move to the cart and grab the chest if I can.
Okay, well, in order to grab the chest, you're going to have to crawl around the front and be crawling into the front because it's just like it's a sealed wagon, and right now it's just split. So you're crawling in to try and grab a hold of the chest and get it to safety. So you're moving into the wagon, which is good.
That's fine.
All right, and then next up is me, and on my round, it will sit there and look down at this short goblin thing that has pushed it away from its target, and as it looks at you, Gabba, its eyes flare with the deepest, darkest of shadows. Shadows, you've seen similar things before in some of your recent quests into the Ether Bloom, but this is darkness in and of itself. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Boy. 19. Went from a 7 to a 17.
So you will take half damage from this, and you are not restrained as these dark tendrils from its revenant's gaze start to wrap around you and try to restrain you. 8, 9, 10, 11, 17 points cut in half. So we'll make that 8 points of damage, necrotic. Ow. And that is its action. So that brings us to Luca.
Okay, so whatever Merrick did gives us all advantage.
Yeah.
The next attack hit it.
Just one.
That's
attack.
already over. That's already over.
No, that's you.
Okay.
That's on you.
All right. Well, in that case, then I'll just keep with the Eldritch Blast.
You blast it again. Excellent.
Yes.
Roll away.
With a 17 to hit.
And that hits.
All right.
And I will let you know right now that you see it kind of dissolve into the ground.
10 points. Wow. 10 points damage.
Yeah, you hit this thing, and the energy from your blast absorbs into this thing and causes it to almost look like it's melting into the ground itself. And with that, you guys, the Guardian has been vanquished, and the caravan appears at this point to be safe. The gates of Faristad are wide open, and the townsfolk are now peeking out and starting to cheer. The guards have come down, and again, they look very, very timid. I mean, this is a farming community. They don't really have, it's not a real militia. These guys normally would have pitchforks, you know what I mean? But they do have some crossbows in their hands. They come down and they take into custody the prisoners that you've brought.
Hear our story of why they're in custody.
And with that, I mean, you're escorted into the town as well. And I'm going to share with you. I mean, I've already shared it before. I'm going to share again if I can. I'm just going to show it on the screen so people can see. We'll do this. So this is the map of the Middlelands, in case people haven't seen it recently. So you've traveled from the number 1 on the map there, which is Mistwood, past number 9, which is Witch's Hill, past the bridge, which is number 7, all the way to number 2, which is Faristad, the town of Faristad. And some of the small, I don't, because each hex is 100 miles, so you're not seeing every little cluster of trees. You're only seeing the big things on there. So I will show that to you guys as well. But just so everybody gets a chance to see. Yes, you wanted to add something, Kale?
Kale's just basically going to walk up to the corpse of this monster and vent his frustration by just repeatedly casting Firebolt, because he can do it infinitely. And just
as I mentioned,
corpse.
there's no corpse.
Oh.
It's kind of melted into the ground. It was vegetation.
Okay, I thought it turned into like a puddle.
It's more like it's vegetation. It's like greens and vines and everything else that was corrupted, and then it's just kind of wilted and like dust and whatnot on the ground. It just blends.
Then I'll just burn the dust.
All right, so you're doing
He's
this
like,
on the ground.
I am tired of interruptions.
So as I
You're
said, the
scaring
gates of
the
Faristad.
townsfolk.
Yeah, the townsfolk are a little bit freaked out by this. But the gates are open for you, and Creek rolls the caravan, or what's left of it, into the town square. The golden glow of the setting sun at this point bathes the gathered townsfolk in a warm light, and cheers rising up to greet you guys. This is the first time. I mean, you guys have done a lot of things, or some of you have, to help Mistwood, and you've always had the town's approval and support. But these townsfolk are really, they're cheering you on. You see a gentleman step forward, his weathered face beaming with gratitude. And he's got like really nice attire on, especially for a farming community. He says to you, "You have done more than deliver seeds. You have delivered hope. Faristad owes you a great debt." And the square is soon alive with music and laughter and rich aromas of freshly baked bread and roasted meats. Basically spending whatever resources they have left in the town, knowing that they're saved, that there's going to be hope after all. They're beginning. You see the beginnings of it. Like, it is again late into the day, early evening. You see a feast is beginning to be prepared in your honor. Townsfolk approach you guys, expressing their thanks. They all begin to kind of talk to you. Creek sits back with Ember, with the horses, and just kind of has a little flask.
Yeah, we caught the horses.
He brought the horses back with.
Good.
You hear him say something, and all of a sudden they come back, right beside him. But he's got a little flask, and he raises it up to you guys, and takes a drink out of it as he's off to the side by himself. And you do hear him say, "To these brave souls whose courage brought life back to the fields." And a few people that are around Creek kind of, they repeat it. So there is around, again, there's townsfolk around that you can talk to. There's the gentleman that did say that at first and approached you is the mayor, Diego Alvarez. He's there as well, having conversation. There's this feast going on. Are you guys doing anything basically well here?
Kale actually looked surprised. Oh, sorry, you first. You can go first.
I would say.
Oh, we lost her. That's what happened.
She dropped.
When did she drop? She'll be back.
Okay, I guess I will go first. Kale just basically looks surprised that people are praising him because he's not used to this. He's kind of used to how he's being treated by Helen and other people, treated a little warily. So to be praised is kind of a surprising moment for Kale.
Yeah, Gabba's kind of hiding behind his legs at the party, or at the crowd, a little intimidated. She's not used to that much attention.
All right, so you're there, Gail and Gabba, because Kale and Gabba, because Kale, you're looking at the crowd. Gabba, you're kind of standing off to the side. You guys can roll me a perception check.
Oh.
I assume that they've told the people about the bridge, the Silver Veil being destroyed.
Yeah, word, and the mayor has basically assured you guys that word is being sent out to the Spire to see what Aldrich wants to do about the bridge, and I'm sure he'll have his mages work on it.
We'll have to have the waters cleared of snakes first.
Well, they don't know they're going to do that, because if they belong there, they'll be left there. So
okay.
I rolled a 17, by the way.
Okay.
Gabba rolled an 8.
An 8. So you don't notice her, but Kale, you do. At the very far end, like probably about 100 yards or so away, you notice that druid, Elowen, just kind of standing at the edge of the feast. Just watching the proceedings.
Kale's actually going to lead the group and actually approach Elowen.
Okay, so we'll get to Kale. So Merrick, Luca, and Gaba, with all these festivities going on, are you guys doing anything or talking to anybody specific about anything?
Well, Gaba's protection leg suddenly moved off, so she's going to follow that. So she's with Kyle at the moment.
Okay, so as you start heading off with Kyle, and you realize all of a sudden where Kyle's going, you recognize Elowin as well is returned at just over 100 yards away. So that leaves Luca and Merrick. Are you guys doing anything?
I didn't notice anything. Just having fun with the
So
food
you're
in
just
the
talking
party.
with townsfolk?
Yep.
Okay. Merrick?
Merrick is probably having already ate and drank a little bit. Are there stalls or anything like market stalls still up?
Oh yeah, there's a few stalls still going.
Would there be like rutabar or other plants such as that, or is
Yep.
most of the harvest just not there because it's all rotted and
You won't find a lot of fresh stuff from that, but I mean you'll find stuff like that jarred. You'll find jars of it for sure. Preserved.
that probably doesn't help me with what I was doing. In that case, then Merrick is probably just going about saying small prayers to everyone, occasionally talking to himself like, "No, Yin, it's not the time for that. We'll continue forth and maybe find some other thing." And he'll go just place to place, doing
Okay.
small prayers
Kind of
in
passing
the name of
blessings
his
on to the
god.
cleric. Okay. So you're doing your thing. I will have you note, you notice that during the celebration, as all this is going on, as you're making these rounds around the thing, that the magical seeds are taken out of the chest, and they are laid out in front of a druid and a priest that are sitting at a grand table with the mayor, and there's just kind of like a cloth on the table, and these seeds are put there, and they look to be a pretty heavy seed, and they're definitely glowing with divine energy. All of a sudden, as you're doing that, your mind goes cloudy for a minute, and you see a vision of the fields that you've been passing through that are all you've seen the rot and everything else in the distance. These fields, all of a sudden, you see them flourishing beyond anything your imagination could picture. But there's something in the distance, in that vision, something nagging, a storm in the center of the Middlelands that could disrupt the balance. You can feel it, but yet you see this splendor of crops and bountiful returns, but there's just a hint of danger, and all of a sudden your vision returns and you're back to normal as it goes through, as these guys are doing a ritual and they're putting the seed away at this point. Kale and Gaba, you reach over to where Elowin stands.
Kale's going to leave by saying, "Did we prove ourselves to you?"
You don't prove anything to me. It's not what I asked. I asked for you to prove that you were worthy to carry such a thing. Obviously you were, because you made it here. Barely.
He goes, "Then what?
She seems
Why
very.
are you here now?"
She seems friendly and sincere, but very arrogant in a way.
Yeah, he basically just asked, "Why is she here now?" Then
Why not? Our watchful eye is everywhere in the Middlelands. And you get a chill when she says that, Gavin. As you realize as she's standing there and her robes are kind of slightly open, you see a very familiar symbol to you. It's the symbol of the Grove Bound Circle, which is the order that took you in. You are muted, by the way, Gavin, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything yet. She was just thinking, but she's need help around here? We're good at helping with things.
Your place is already prepared. You have your own little grove.
Can still
And
take 15 to help.
she looks down and she leans down to you and she whispers something in your ear. What she whispers is that your pond is the spring that feeds the Silvervale Run. And you know the Silvervale Run is very important to some of the farmlands. It's got magical properties to the water itself. And that's
Okay.
she tells you a little bit about that.
She takes it in, nods. It's seems normal. It's kind of cool to her, but she understands.
You protect that, and we'll protect here as best we can.
She look up at Kyle, at Kale, but she called him Kyle. Look over. Kay. And she starts walking back.
Gale just turns to Ellen and goes, I apologize, by the way, for losing my temper at the dead carcass of the monster. I was getting a little agitated by the interference.
One can't expect much from giant folk.
Wow.
And you pretty much know, as irritating as it is, you pretty much know that when it comes to most giant folk, she's probably right. So, not all giant folk, but most giant folk, yeah, she's probably right.
Yeah, he just basically sighs and just turns around and walks off. At that, he's basically showing her that he's not respecting that by his time anymore.
So she basically goes off into the tree lines near the edge of town, and as the feast winds down, the townsfolk offer their final thanks. The stars begin to twinkle overhead, and Faristad feels alive with new energy. Its people revitalized by your efforts. Mayor Diego clasps your hands one final time. The Middlelands are fortunate to have heroes like you. Should you ever need a home or a friend, Faristad will always welcome you with open arms. And with the promise of new adventures ahead, the caravan's journey concludes, and the road stretches ever onwards. As the mayor has removed his hand from each of you as he does, he gives you each a medallion, known as a farmer's medallion. It basically gives you advantage on animal handling checks.
Ooh.
Once per day. It resets on a long rest. And there is a one-time built into the medallion, only one time only, lesser restoration.
Ooh.
And everybody
Kale's
gets one of
basically
them.
going to put his around his neck.
What does it look like? Is it like in a shape of something, or?
It's actually in the shape of a sheaf of wheat.
Oh,
You have to wear it for it to work, or just have it on your person.
You have to have it on your person.
It doesn't necessarily have to be worn. It could be like in a pocket.
Yep.
Okay.
thank you.
Creek actually pays you guys all your 80 gold pieces that was agreed upon, but also another small chest that he takes out of the wagon as well, which has got 400 gold pieces on it, so another 100 gold pieces each for completing the task.
So we each get 180?
Yep. And you each get 1,750 experience points.
Wow.
What?
Of course,
They did all the work.
Make it 1450. I forgot. You guys didn't actually beat Elowin. Just kind of pushed her aside. So 1450 each.
I'm glad that wasn't a fight. I almost started looking
Yeah.
around for shadow wolves again.
What exactly was that about? What was her idea of prove yourself? She wanted to fight us?
No, well, she wanted you to basically prove that you're worthy of what you're doing. So kind of give her some form of justification of why Kumir should trust you guys with such a valuable thing as those enchanted seeds. And it could just basically involving a conversation, which you guys didn't really want any of. So she just stepped aside and let you go your way.
Before I would have left the village, I would have liked to give the vision I had to the mayor,
Okay.
and tell him that it might be worth checking out the place that I felt that unease from.
Okay. Immediately upon saying something to him, he goes to that priest and the druid that were talking together, and the three of them are having a conversation. They don't look anything more concerned than they already are. Like right now, the moods are still pretty high, obviously, but that is being discussed. You can definitely tell that's happening. So with that, guys, we do conclude our session, our one shot for this evening. Oops, we just lost Luca again. This was the Escort to Seed. Hopefully you guys had fun. It was, I think I kind of had to adjust a little bit on the fly, as I mentioned to some people before, because this was actually meant for a level 4 or level 5 adventure. Because Gaba and Luca are 4th level, and there was a couple of other people I was trying to get pulled in. That there was one person that has a level 5, and then we've got a couple of pre-gens that are level 5 already, but that didn't happen. So I just kind of had to adjust on the fly some of the challenges. I think I made some of them maybe a little too easy, but at the same time, I mean, the final battle, there was actually supposed to be a couple of other things distracting when this thing was coming down. It was 2 hits away, by the way, from destroying the seed. So,
No!
Yeah, I knew if it hit that chest once or twice, it'd be done for.
Yeah, well, the next hit was going to split the wagon completely apart, exposing the chest entirely, and then the hit after that would have destroyed the chest and the seed.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm gonna get in there and kind of protect it a little bit.
Yeah, you guys did well. I mean, kind of surprisingly well.
Was the chest something that one of us could have picked up by themselves?
The big chest of seed, no, it would have taken a couple of you to actually move it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of seed. Like it's a heavy, it's a heavy magic and magically sealed as well. So definitely something that would have required a group effort. So
I have a question.
Yes.
Faristad was the one that was devastated by that Cyclops. So when we're looking around, did it look like they've repaired some of the buildings that the Cyclops destroyed? Does it still look like it's pretty run down?
Around Faristad, you do see that there is, especially on the outskirts where these towers are, there are some damaged buildings still. It looks like there are. I mean, this happened. It was a couple months ago now, right? It was before the winter snows. The heaviest snows came in the bad storms, but it looks like they've started repairs on like most of the dwellings. Some of the major buildings have been a little bit more completed and fixed up. It didn't look like the whole town was done, but definitely this section of town had been hit for sure, and they are making improvements.
Okay. What did we decide about how to get back with the bridge being out?
Well, they said that word had been sent to Aldrich at the Spire, and that hopefully his mages will have the bridge reconstructed by the time you guys get back there.
Oh, okay.
And you've seen, I mean, Luca, you've seen it, and Gabby, you've seen it. The rest of you haven't. But the western tower in Mistwood and barracks used to be further north than where it was. They literally took that down within a week, and this is the townspeople's magic that was there took it down and rebuilt a stone barracks and tower directly on the West Road, and it went up rather quickly. So, with the help of magics for sure. And when Aldrich's involved, you guys know that Aldrich is. I mean, he runs the Order of Magi. So at the Spire, which is the center point of all magic in this particular world. So it's kind of it's there. So any other questions, guys? While we're here before we wrap it all up.
Oh, great! Thank you so much. This is so much fun.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoy. There is an adventure coming next Saturday. As I mentioned, it was originally planned for this Saturday, but I had to move it anyway because it involves the return of the Emerald Legion, which happens on Thursday. They will be back from their mission, and they will be dropping something off in Mistwood and handing it off for the people that are hopefully take up the adventure for next weekend and do the one shot for there. Which, by the way, if people are interested, will take you to Gilded Hollow, which is north of Mistwood. Will also take you to Starfall Spire directly, which, as I said, is the center of all magic in Oyala and Dor. So rather interesting place. So if you guys are interested in that, keep it in mind. It is a level 3-4 adventure, and it will be more of a challenged thinking based adventure and less combat orientated. So there'll be more skill checks and whatnot. If that's your thing, then feel free to join. I know Gaba and Luca, you guys are not available next Saturday.
I might be able to actually. So if it ends early enough, if it ends at this time like this, then I should be able to.
Yeah, I try to run these quests from 7 to 9. Like 2 hours is usually pretty ample time, I think, to run a one shot. And these are like mini adventures because you guys play in the Discord, and I do award experience occasionally in the Discord as well. And you can also award yourself if you're solo role playing or whatever, doing things. But in order to advance your characters, which we all want to do playing D&D, we need some kind of quest. And I think this one gave you guys quite a bit of experience, actually. So I think those of you who are not 4th level are definitely 4th level probably now. And those of you that are 4th might be close to 5th or getting up that direction.
About halfway.
About halfway.
I am 50 points from leveling Kale.
There you go. You'll probably, as of Tuesday, when I do my weekly allotment of rewards, you'll probably get that. So that's something, Merrick, you don't know, is every Tuesday, which is my DM day, that's when I go around and all the people who've been role playing in the Discord, I give them anywhere from 30 experience points up to like 200 experience points for the amount of contributions and role play they've done in the Discord. And how creative and sometimes I'll just spontaneously go, hey, take 200 experience points for doing this role play, because it was really cool, whatever, right? Because rule of cool always works with me. So all right, guys, thank you very much for playing. I'm glad you enjoyed. I look forward to doing episode 7 of the MiniAdventures next Saturday.
All right.
We do return with Emerald Legion on Thursday night at 7 p.m. See what that kooky cast of characters is up to, and definitely a kooky cast of characters on that one. And keep it in mind. And keep in mind, guys, if anybody out there watching, you've seen it scrolling across the bottom there, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell icon if you want notifications. Join us on the Discord. You can be part of the adventure itself. Role play with us on a daily basis. Role play on our weekly one shots. Be part of just the general community, a bunch of, geeks and freaks like the rest of us, where we all get along and we have like-minded things. And we have some cool merch available as well through my Redbubble shop. And then we have the Patreon where you can actually purchase the one-shot adventures like this one. Also, you can purchase individual ancestries and some of the character classes coming up. They'll be for sale as well. So you can grab some of that material for your own use for your home game. So if you're into it. So for now, guys, it's been fun, and I will see you all on the Discord, and we'll talk to you all later.
All right. Bye-bye.